Well, First Baptist Church family, hey, great news. I wanted to let you know that this coming Sunday, June 7th, we're actually going to be regathering here at our church as we once again gather together to worship on a Sunday morning. And we're excited about being able to get back together again. Now, I want you to note something at the very beginning. We're going to have a slight change in time for our worship service on Sunday. We're going to meet at 10 o'clock instead of our normal time, which is 9 o'clock. Because we're not going to be having Sunday school or children's ministries for a while. We just thought the 10 o'clock time was a good way to get people back into the swing of coming to church again. So would you make sure to pass that word around to let people know that our Sunday morning worship this coming Sunday, and at least for the next few weeks, will be at 10 o'clock in the morning. And I wanted to let you know that when you come to church on Sunday, it's going to be a little bit different here. In fact, look behind me. This is our church's fellowship hall. And because the virus is still with us, our goal is to make our church as safe as possible for all of you. We want to make sure that nothing would hamper your health in any way. And so we want you to feel comfortable about coming back to church and worshiping with us. And so what we've done is we've turned our fellowship hall into our primary church location on Sunday mornings. And one of the reasons we do that is there's no carpeting on the floor. The chairs are not cushioned, which means that makes it easier for us to keep virus free, again, so that we can keep everybody healthy. But I also want to let you know that on Sunday, if you choose to come here and you still might be a little bit apprehensive, our worship center, or in other words, our sanctuary, is also going to be open on Sundays for people to come to sit down and to worship. And what will be happening is the very same service that's taking place here in our fellowship hall will be on the two large screens in our worship center. So maybe that's a place that you feel a little bit more comfortable sitting in. There's a whole lot more room there to spread out, but still being able to join together to worship with us on Sunday morning. Now, some things to note, some important things that I want to make you aware of in preparation for gathering together on Sunday. First of all, though there are a number of entry points into our church, we are going to lock all of the doors with the exception of the one door that's located closest to my office. And that's the door that has the ramp associated with it. So that will be the main entry point. And what will happen when you show up for church on Sunday morning, you will be met by a greeter who will be at that door. That door will be propped open so we don't have to touch any door handles or anything. So a greeter will meet you. You'll make your way into the church building. What you'll note when you come into the church building, there's a table located that has a supply of hand sanitizer on it as well as face masks. And what we're going to encourage you to do, everybody who comes in, is to use that hand sanitizer, and I think that's a good practice for us to get into, at least for a while. Again, as I've also mentioned, there's going to be a supply of face masks there. If you did not bring one, if you choose to use one, you'd like to use one, let me share this with you. While face masks will not be required to come to church on Sunday, we also understand that for some people, certainly that makes them feel more comfortable as a means of protection. And we want you to know that we support you in that. Again, that's why we will provide masks if you do not have one, that you can certainly take one for your use. Now, if you choose, when you come in to sit into our fellowship hall, what will happen is you will find a place to sit down, and whether you are a single, a couple, or a group, what we will do is we will put your chairs together, which will create more distance, more space between somebody that's in front of you and to the side of you in order to create that social distancing that we're encouraged to do as we gather together in a large group. And again, we think that'll be helpful. Now, again, if you choose to sit into our worship center, again, our sanctuary, there's going to be plenty of space there for you to spread out so that social distancing will be something that will be very easy to do. Our order of service is going to be a little bit different over these first few weeks. There'll be no children's messages. We're not going to take communion, at least for a few months, probably not until fall. The fall season comes. Offering plates will not be passed. We have offering plates located at specific spots throughout our worship areas for you to place your tithes and your offerings. So you'll be able to do that. And again, let me encourage you. You can also sign up for our online giving program that we now have here at the church. For our senior citizens, certainly we want to protect you. I actually fall into that group as well, and we don't want you to take any chances. While we would love to have you here worshiping with us on a Sunday morning, we would certainly understand that if you would choose to stay home. And we hope, again, you continue to tune in on our online worship service, which will, again, be the same service taking place here on a Sunday morning. Again, we want you to be protected. We want you to feel comfortable. And again, the worship center is also available if you want to be in an area where maybe, again, you have more space, more room around you. So what's going to happen when church is over? Well, at the end of our service, instead of exiting the building through the door that you came in, you will actually exit through the door which is at the north end of the fellowship hall, which is located by Kathleen's office. And we think that's a good way so that we're not going back and forth in our travel areas. And again, we have hand sanitizer on tables just before you get to the exit door that you can use that hand sanitizer when you leave. And if you want to mingle with people, we just encourage you to do that once you get outside the doors of the church, where it's a little bit easier to keep some space in between you and others. For certain, things have changed. Again, we wish we didn't have to do these things, but at the same time, we realize this is something very important for us to do if we are going to gather back together again. Over these last few months, I think we've really gained new viewers because of our own online process, and we probably now have an online church, which we believe is going to continue even beyond these times as we meet together here in our church. And again, we're glad to have you. We hope you continue to worship with us, whether you choose to do it online or you want to do it, come and do it in person with us. One more thing let me share with you, and again, I think this is important before you come to church on Sunday. I have been encouraged by the Department of Public Health, and I think it's a great advice, is that you take your temperature before you come here. Just today, I had to go to two different doctor's offices, and before they would let me in, they put a thermometer to my head and they took my temperature, and it's for a good reason. And we would encourage you to do that at home, and then make sure that if your temperature is 100.6 or less, then again, you're certainly welcome to join us here for worship. But if you have a temperature that's over that, again, we want to encourage you just to stay home and worship online with us. I'm sure you feel the same way that I do. We don't want to bring anything into the building that can be spread to anybody else that certainly may be vulnerable. And again, we think that's good for you and as well as it's good for us. So as we continue on a week-by-week basis to gather together for worship. Hopefully once this virus dissipates and it's gone, Lord, the Lord knows we can change some things around, and we'll be encouraged when that comes. But right now, we're going to be very cautious. And so, again, let me encourage you to do that. As I bring this to a close, this pandemic has certainly turned many things upside down, including how people go to church. We know that. It's been a long 2+ months since many churches have been able to gather together. We've been blessed with our online presence, as I've mentioned, and we're going to continue that. Again, it's been great to be able to share church with you, but it's not the same thing as we gather together here in person as a community of believers, and we can lift each other up and to encourage one another. So if you can make it here on Sunday, again, our starting time is 10 o'clock in the morning. And again, your prayers are certainly appreciated as we work through the process that needs to take place in order to make this Sunday morning and even beyond, happen. Again, your prayers are just absolutely critical to make sure we do things the right way. And please don't hesitate to contact me here at the church if you have any questions or if there's anything I can do maybe to assist you. Finally, I'm going to begin a brand new sermon series this Sunday, and I'm really excited. This series, it's titled "To Be Just Like Jesus," and together, what we're going to do is we're going to discover the heart of Jesus as it was lived out in so many different ways in the world. And I know. Take a look around you. Our world's in desperate condition. Our world is in a desperate need of hope. And guess what? We are the only ones that have that hope. And as people look at us, do they see Jesus? Not us, do they see Jesus? And maybe not so right now, but it's my goal, it's my hope that this series will help each and every one of us become a little bit more like Jesus in this process as we grow to be certainly more like Him. Then our lights are going to shine so brightly so we can share Christ and the hope of Christ and all that He offers to the world around us. So again, we're gathering together. We're going to be a church united together again, and that's a great thing. We are excited. We look forward to seeing you on Sunday, and we will see you at 10 o'clock on Sunday morning, okay? Well, God bless you, and until we see you then, thanks.